Hey everyone, welcome to another Adobe Illustrator tutorial. Let's talk about selection tool. It seems pretty straightforward and kind of self-explanatory, but you don't realize how often you use this selection tool than any others. There are more uses of this tool apart from just selecting objects. You can use it to transform objects, which include moving an object, use it for rotation and for scaling. Let me demonstrate it for you one by one. So I have created this design of coupon to demonstrate this tutorial. Now if you come to extreme left on your screen, you can see this toolbar. Inside this toolbar you will see this first option, which is a black arrow. This is called selection tool. So if you click on it once, it will get activated. Or you can use the hotkey from keyboard, which is V. So if you press V once, it will get activated. Now to select any object, you just have to come over that object and click on it once and it will get selected. You can see this blue line and these tiny squares. It is called bounding box. Alright. And if you want to deselect any object, you can click on the blank area on canvas and it will get deselected. You can also click outside of this canvas to deselect it. And if you click one object and you want to select another object, you can just click on it once and the first one will get deselected. Now to select multiple objects, you can click on the first object once, and to create multiple selection, you just have to press shift from your keyboard. So if you press shift and click on the second object, now they both are selected together. I can add more object to the selection. So if I press shift and click on this text, now these three objects are selected. Again I can press shift and select this box and the four objects are selected. Now if I want to remove one of it from selection, I can just press shift and click on this, so it will get deselected. Now I've got three objects selected. Alright, I can remove this from selection and now I have two objects selected only. And again I can click outside and it will get deselected. There is another way to create the selection. You can just come here and click and drag and you can see this dotted line box. And if you release the selection here, this is called Marquee Selection, by the way. So if you release the selection here, whatever inside this box will get selected. So if I release my mouse button, they all will get selected. I can press shift and click and drag to create the Marquee Selection again. And if I release my mouse button, it will get selected. Again I can use shift to deselect it also. So if I press shift and drag, click and drag, it will deselect my selection from this. This is it for selection. Let's move on to transform. What transform you can use? The first one is move. Now if you click on any object and if you click and drag, it will move your object anywhere you want. Anywhere you are dragging your mouse, it will move your object. Alright, I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo it. Similarly, like selection, we can press shift and select two objects together and move them together. Again I'm going to press Ctrl Z to move them back. Now there is more keyboard combination attached to it. So if you click and move your object while pressing shift from your keyboard, it will lock the axis and move it in a single direction. So right now it's moving in Y axis only while I'm pressing shift. If I release my shift, again it will go freeform. Alright, so it's important to press shift if you want to move it in single axis. I can move it in X axis also and in diagonal also. I can select this one also and press shift and move both of them together in a single axis. Alright, press Ctrl Z to move it back. Now if you press Alt while moving your object, it will create a copy and move it together. So make sure you are pressing Alt and it will move your object and create a copy simultaneously. I'm going to delete this one. Now if you press Alt and shift together, it will create a copy and move the object together. So let's say if I want to create a copy of this 4 object, I can select them pressing shift, and if I press Alt and press shift and drag them, it will create the copy of these areas, this object, sorry. Let's delete it. Now there is second option, which is scale in transform. So if you click on any object, whether it's a text or a box or a circle, anything, if you click on it, I'm going to press Alt and scroll my mouse key to zoom in a bit just to demonstrate. So if I select this object, select this text, you can see this bounding box and there are tiny squares attached to it. If I come over here on the tiny box, you can see a double-sided arrow, diagonal double-sided arrow. if you click and drag, it will scale it. And if you press shift and drag, it will scale it uniformly. It won't mess up the proportion of the text. And if I press alt, it will scale it from all sides. And if I press alt and shift together, it will scale it from all sides and keep the proportion intact. I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo it. You can also this square in the side. So if you click here and drag, it will scale it from the side only. And if you press alt, it will scale it from both sides. You can also use this top arrow. And if you press alt, it will scale it from both sides. Ctrl Z to undo it. Now the third option is rotation. So if you want to rotate any object, you can select any of them. So let's say I'm going to rotate this one. But before that, I'm going to create a copy. So to create a copy, remember you press alt and drag to create a copy. Now to rotate any object, what you can do, you can come over here and you can see this double-sided arrow which is little rounded. That means you can rotate it. So if you click and drag, it will rotate your object. But if you press shift while rotating your object, it will lock it to 45 degrees. So right now it's rotated to 45 degrees. If I move it one more time, it will rotate it to 90 degrees. Let's zoom out using alt and scroll key to see what is happening here. Again, I can come over here and press shift to rotate it 45 degrees. Let's move it here. Select these two objects. So press shift, select one object and press shift to move, select the second object, and let's move them pressing shift so it will lock the axis. Keep it here somewhere in the center and select this one and rotate this one. So press shift and rotate till 90 degrees and move it here and scale it down. So again use this corner box and press shift and drag to scale it down proportionately and click and drag to move. So we have added another element to the coupon. Let's zoom out. So this was the rotation, but there is another option which I would like to demonstrate. So if you select your rectangle and zoom in a bit, you can see these tiny circles. And if you click and drag on this circle, it will make the corners rounded. You can go all the way till it creates the semicircle. And if you want to go back to the original rectangle, you can click and drag all the way back and you will get this original rectangle. You can also make the single corner rounded. So for that you have to click on it once and it will get selected. And now click and drag to make it rounded. So we can select this one and make it less rounded to make it stylish. I'm gonna go all the way back. So press Ctrl Z twice and I'm going to select once and drag all the way to make it rounded, to make all the four corners rounded. Similarly, I'm going to select this one and make it rounded all the way. Now this was for rectangle, but what if you have a circle? So this pizza base, this is just a circle and nothing else. I can move it for you and you can see this is just a simple circle. I'm going to create a copy of this, and for that I'm going to marquee select all of this. But we have selected these two boxes also, so I'm going to press shift and marquee deselect them, and now you got this selected only. You can see the bounding box. So if you press alt and drag, it will create a copy, and if you press shift, it will create a copy and lock the axes together. Now if you select the circle, you can see this single circle. It will create a pie or a semicircle. So if you click on it once, click and drag on it, and it will create a pie. So we can create a pizza slice here, and you can see the pie angle and end angle attached to it. So I'm gonna go all the way to 45 or near to 45. This is looking fine. I'm going to select this second circle and click and drag on it, and it will create this slice. Marquee select all these extra parts and delete them from your keyboard. Just press delete from the keyboard and it will get deleted. Select all these extra parts and delete them. Now I'm going to select this one and move it here, but before that I'm going to remove the extra slice from here. So again I'm going to select this one, and this time I'm gonna go opposite side. So just remove this one, select this second circle and remove this one. Select these two circles and delete them. Select this slice and move it back. To navigate, I was using alt and scroll key from keyboard to zoom in and zoom out, and to pan, if you just press space bar, and drag around, you can pan your canvas. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a bit, and this is it for this one. I hope you learned something new from it, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you soon in the next one. Thanks for watching.